Hey, how's it going, everyone? Anthony here, AFT Dog Training. I wanted to do a video here on Victoria Stilwell and the lying that she purposely puts on her show to dupe the public and any pet or dog organization that's involved with her, like the Pet Professional Guild has her as an ambassador, should be outraged with the purposeful deceit to the public, to lie to you. Imagine me saying that a dog died from wearing a harness, and I'm going to show you some horrific injuries from a harness. But just simply using the tool, the dogs died. And when I said that on my television show, where Cesar Millan said that, all of a sudden you heard like a rubber band sound that snapped, and it was like, whoa, that could happen to the dog, and then a bone snapping in half sound, like, all right, like a neck breaking. Imagine editing the video to put that sound there on purpose to deceive the public. Okay, so I'm going to play the video of me speaking, showing you my dogs real quick.
Hey, what's up everyone? Anthony here, AFT Dog Training. I'm going to be doing a video on the remote collar. Alright, as usual. Because that seems to be the biggest, one of the main tools that positive and force-free dog trainers want to have banned, and recently with Petco, they want to have the remote collar banned and not the other tools. And as I was making my coffee here, I'm like, you know what? I'll show you how excited my dogs get when I just grab the remote collars. There we go. This ain't even all of them. My other dogs are out in the yard. Does that dog look shut down? They know we're going out. Right? The other two guys are too old, sleeping. Apple, you want to go? Look, girl. You want to go out? Yeah, she knows.
It's funny, when I was taping here, I thought I was like filming the other dogs, but obviously
but do those dogs look like this tool here is used in any bad way with them, even when we drop them? Look
how excited my dogs are.
So wait till you see the next video I'm going to be posting on the propaganda.
And we'll just go to that, because that's what I was talking about here. So now let's go to, here are, now this is over in the UK where they're banning prong collar tools and such. This is graphic, so I'm warning you. Dog, horrific injury suffered by a pug after his harness was left on for 3 weeks when he was being looked after by a dog minder. Dog sitter, I guess they call it over there, but look at the injury. All right, this is the Daily Mail. There are also, it's like, I think, one of the biggest news outlets in the UK. But they also did, I think they were one of the, no, that might have been the Sun. They did an investigation on all the dogs being killed over in the UK because of force-free and positive-only dog training. Because the shelters there refuse to use any dog training tools, so 30% of the dogs are being euthanized because of that. So this is a harness injury, regardless if you want to acknowledge it or not, but this is what happens when dogs wear harnesses too. Now, you don't see me posting like images of this, because I really don't, I'm not trying to push propaganda to have harnesses banned. I might share it just to educate the owners about an injury that could happen from it. What happens with positive-only force-free dog trainers is they'll show an image of somebody that left the prong collar on the dog for like 6 months, and the dog grew into the prong collar. And that's where you would see the injuries with a hole in the dog's neck. The dog grew into the prong collar, like here, with the harness. But for some reason, Petco's not banning the harness. So we're going to go to Victoria Stilwell and
what Roxy went through when she wore her shock
let's listen
collar.
to this.
If I put this, and don't do this at home, even on 2, which is the lowest level.
Listen to the noise.
Oh, yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Let's go again.
Feel what it feels like. Ouch.
That is added in by the company. Here's a remote collar. Turning it on. I'm holding it down. Are you hearing any electric noise? I'm putting it on my hand too, so you don't say it's not touching and they're making electric noise then. There is no. This is the problem with Petco, Victoria Stilwell, the Pet Professional Guild, and any uneducated anti-remote collar idiot. Okay? Is because they're purposely putting that sound in. To think that there's some kind of tasering to this TENS unit. That's what they're doing. Alright? Why there should be outrage from every dog organization out there.
Oh, yeah. I just
Are
want
you
you
kidding
to
me?
put this, and don't do this at home. Even on
Don't do it at
2,
home.
which is the lowest level.
I'm on 6.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even feel anything.
I just want you to feel what it feels like.
Ouch. Actually, it feels like needles.
We only had it on level 2. When
And
they were
that
using
brand
shock
that you
collar
can
with
tell
Roxy.
right there is like
Trainers
real peace. Alright, real peace. Now, I could tell you between her harness that she sells, the Positively harness, so she puts the word positive there so that she thinks that people watching are morons. Where the harness is a no-pull harness that inflicts pain, that veterinarians say, this is veterinary backed, that her harness inflicts pain and discomfort to stop the dog from pulling. Science, facts. So here's Victoria Stilwell again here talking about prong collar. Again, and I've had videos with me with the prong collar on my neck. And I've had videos with our shelter director really yanking at the prong collar. Not having any issues with it. But again, these are dog training tools. This is like asking my dog to wear sneakers. Right? Some dogs are receptive to wearing little boots on their feet. But we as humans typically need sneakers because we're not built that way to walk around in harsh environments without them. But you're comparing of using dog training tools or even a horse. I mean, if you're going to go that route, then training horses and the same thing with putting it on your head or halty, or better yet, put the saddle on your back and let me sit on your back. And then say that we have to ban the saddle because I'm definitely too heavy. I weigh 230 pounds. So I'm absolutely overweight. But are we going to ban the saddle then? I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking about dog training tools. So this is where to disrespect the dog for being a dog, that's disrespectful. So that's like me saying to disrespect you from being a human. I want you to be more like a dog. Right? That doesn't sound right. You know what? Even yet, I want you to be more like a rat. All right? Or a squirrel. Or a skunk. It doesn't make any sense. So they're comparing two different species and on how we train the species and trying to make it humanistic. So that we are supposed to put a prong collar on our neck, or we are supposed to lick our own rear ends and then eat our own feces like dogs do, or go out in the yard and eat rabbit poop off the ground and roll around in it and be happy about it. I mean, what the heck is she talking about here? But let's continue.
For the first time, what their dogs go through each time on a walk, and it was not pleasant.
Now my dogs are all
What
on
happens is the
prong
trachea
collars, and
over
you'll see how
time
pleasant it is.
can collapse. Or
This is a
become
lie.
bent.
So
And
she says that the
what
trachea.
happens is the trachea over time can collapse.
That's not true. That is a lie. And this whole segment here that pet dog organizations should be speaking out about it. I would expect them to. Because this has over 1 million views. How many people actually fell for this nonsense? You know? This is one of the main, according to veterinarians, this is one of the main injuries that causes trachea issues. The harness. and the buckle collar. That's what many veterinarians would agree on. The prong collar, not happening. For the prong collar to injure the trachea, they would have to be pulling through the prong collar on a crappy prong collar so hard and yanked so hard for them to injure the damn throat. Right? So then she says that this is what the tool does. That's not true. We clearly see about the harness and what other veterinarians on PetMD have said. PetMD.com is similar to WebMD for us.
or become bent, and it could cause all sorts of freak.
And I've done a video on this before, her touching her face, all right, because of the lying, since she's doing this stuff. That's because she's lying. There's a body. Listen to body language experts.
Trachea over time can collapse or become bent, and it could cause all sorts of breathing problems, heart problems, and in some cases, death.
So the prong collar causes heart problems and death, according to Victoria Stilwell. Could you believe that? I mean, it is hard to comprehend this much insanity and just ignorance, man. I mean, it's just, I love this Martin Luther King quote that I listened to a Sirius XM show called Joe Madison. He uses it all the time. He uses this quote for everything, man, because it's so good. It's something along the lines of, nothing is more dangerous in this world than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. End quote. And that goes across for anything in this world. And that's what makes, like, Martin Luther King just, one of the legends and icons he is. Gandhi, Socrates, they all have an amazing insight and quotes if you do a lot of reading like I do. But again, let's use that quote here. There's nothing more dangerous, let's say, in the dog industry world than sincere ignorance, Victoria Stilwell, and conscientious stupidity, Victoria Stilwell. Conscientious decision, a conscious decision to say, I am going to ignore facts and science. I'm going to edit in sounds to make my audience fall and persuade them into believing something that's not true. And that's what Victoria Stilwell did here. In both of just these little segments here. All right. And it is dangerous. You know how? Dogs are dying from it. Dog owners are stressed from it. Dogs are injuring and hurting humans over it. Those dogs end up in my class from listening to Victoria Stilwell. And that's why I videotape it all. Because I can sit here and tell you about it, but I'd rather show you. So you can go to my channel and look at the videos. Man, we're up against a lot of stuff. I wish there was I am members of different organizations, but I really wish there were organizations that were speaking out as much as their side is. They're not policing their own. The Pet Professional Guild could give two shits about the complete nonsense lies that she just said there, as long as she's putting out propaganda. The Association of Professional Dog Trainers, not too far behind Pet Professional Guild on that. They're not policing their own. They don't give a damn. I'm a member of the IACP. There goes my football. I'm a member of the IACP. I wish they would be saying, everything that Victoria Stilwell just said in that episode is a complete lie. We have to address it because we can't let that nonsense spew out into the public. I'm sorry, and put out a big statement. Every time that she puts out a lie, because of the amount of viewers that she gets that sit in front of, sorry, that's a lie, not true, and address it. because they did address policing our own on Jeff Gelman throwing a cotton towel for 1 second at a dog. But again, you can look at all the videos of Victoria Stilwell hanging dogs for the entire episode, or Zach George hanging dogs 3 feet off the ground for the entire episode. Dog jumps up, hanging them, dropped them, hang them, dropped them, hanging them. So the entire episode is something like that, and nothing. Nobody says anything. And then you have this nonsense being spewed on TV, on cable TV. Not national, but cable TV. So anybody that's seen this, and it's not just on cable TV, people then share it on social media. And in social media, they see what she says here, like this 10-minute clip of her show, and then they all believe it. And then, when their dog shows up and they tell me, it's bitten them many times, and they watch Victoria Stilwell, and they put a harness on the dog, and it's attacking the husband. They've been ignoring the growl because the force-free behaviorist had told them to do so. The certified veterinary behaviorist told them to do so, and the dog is severely attacking them. That is why it's happening. And it's happening every time I go into work and have a consultation. Almost every single day, there's a dog. So if that's just me, one of my colleagues, I'm hoping that they're documenting this stuff as well as I do. Because if there's any university that needs this information, I have it. And I have the clients to also testify and give their story and their scientific evidence of what happened to them, and through positive only force-free dog training, and basically how they ended up with me. What makes life easier is when people don't go to positive only force-free dog training first and then come directly to us for dog training, which happens a lot, a lot. But when they go to force-free or positive only dog training and listen to people like Victoria Stilwell, it makes every dog trainer's life a lot harder. That is, I would give it similar to, for years, explaining to a child that 2 + 2 = 5, and then you have to sit there and undo that and tell them what that actually 2 + 2 = 4. All right, and I have to sit there and undo that with my team, and it's a lot, and it's a disservice to the dog. But unfortunately, there's a part of where choices are made by dog owners too. And the fallacy of seeing stuff like this and then they believe it without doing any research, there is some fallout on their own, on themselves. So it's kind of like if somebody told me that, I used this example yesterday, that if there was a family of Bigfoots living out in, up in the Poconos in the house, and they drive around and they just go to the store and they go shopping and they're very public, I would want to see video footage of that. I might want to go there. I want to see I want to see this. Everyone's telling me that there's doctors saying it and stuff too. I got to see it, But for some reason, this stuff here, people just fall for it without actually thinking, did that make that sound? Clearly, there is no sound made with the remote collar. Nothing. So she threw in that sound of zzz, zzz. So surely we have to be okay if we start throwing in sounds of bones breaking and rubber bands snapping on a harness when a dog wears a harness. And nobody will have a problem with it. The organizations can't say nothing. So, all right, everyone. Have a nice day. I got to get on with my day, so you take care.